I hate that that just put a big smile on my face. Hey everyone, welcome back to another video where I'm going to listen to things and analyze things. And before we even get started, I wanted to take a moment to thank all of you who stopped by and gave some love to my reaction to Shapeshifter by Lorde recently. I really love that track. I was pretty impressed with it, and it made me want to check out more of their discography. There were a couple of comments suggesting that I go check out Melodrama, so I'm going to just dive into that. I've been putting off listening to it for a while because I wasn't sure if I wanted to check out the singles first or if I wanted to listen to more of Lorde's most recent album, Virgin, but instead I'm going to dive straight into this. This seems to be a fan favorite, and without further ado, let's dive right in. Track 1, Green Light.
I do my makeup in somebody else's car. We order different drinks at the same bars. Well, those great whites, they have big teeth. Oh, they bite you. That you said that you would always be in love, but you're not in love no more.
Before we go into the next part, I just wanted to just stop really quick and explain a couple of things. So I really like that I'm sort of getting a taste of what I've heard in their recent music, starting to hear just the low, like, calm piano thing, as well as just some little tiny bits of electronic textures coming through the mix. And the vocal quality is very nice. Again, I'm going to really try to give this just a nice, strong listen before I go saying a bunch. So far, I'm just really loving the way that this is building up.
Did it frighten you how we kissed when we danced on the light of floor? On the light of floor. But I hear sounds in my mind, brand new sounds in my mind. Seeing you down every road, I'm waiting for it, that green light. 'Cause I'm waiting for it, that green light. Sometimes I wake up in a different bedroom.
I want to just take a moment to explain what just happened. So we went from this heartbreaky, like very melodramatic intro into this really nice buildup of sounds. And after that buildup, it actually took me by surprise because it wasn't done gradually. It was done very suddenly in a great way. There was a lot of happy sounds right after it. So it's like you go from being really sad and you're just thrown into this explosion of just happiness and dance beats. That was interesting. We're gonna keep going.
I whisper things, the city sings them back to you. Well, those rumors, they have big teeth. Oh, they bite you. Thought you said that you would always be in love, but you're not in love no more. Did it frighten you how we kissed when we danced on the light of floor? On the light of floor.
Before we go into the happy beats again, I wanted to point out that the things I really liked about the vocal arrangement in Shapeshifter, the little sort of hard panned vocal arrangements, the vocal layers, they seem to be a staple, at least just with this intro track and what I've heard before. It seems to be something that Lorde likes to do to sort of bulk out the vocal arrangement, and I'm also really liking it in here as well.
But I hear sounds in my mind. I'll be seeing you ever I go. I'm waiting for it, that green light, I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light, I want it. I'm waiting for it, that green light, I want it.
That was beautiful. I didn't expect the album to really open up like that based on what I heard from Lorde's newer music, and obviously this was a different time. This was a couple albums ago, so that in mind, I'm gonna try to keep this brief. But track 1 so far, A+. I love that this song literally pulled me into an introspective, very thoughtful attitude, and then sort of woke me up, for lack of a better phrase. I think that's the best way I could sort of articulate what just happened here. I wasn't sure if it was a key switch or not, if there was like a shift in key or maybe just moving on to a different chord pattern into those happy sort of dance beats and sort of break areas. But it sounded really nice, having what essentially felt like 2 or 3 songs in one. It also had these nice little psychedelic synths towards the end there. Definitely up my alley. I like anything that has a lot of synth layers like we discussed in the last video, but really happy with this so far. Let's go on to track 2, Sober. And this was a song that in particular I've been asked to sort of share my opinion on, so we're going to check it out next. Lose my mind, lose my mind, lose my mind. Just really quick, only 8 seconds in. What a way to start off the song. I have no idea where the downbeat is. So like the 1, 2, 3, 4 of the song, I have no idea where that is. It's literally just vocal chops. And they're doing almost like I don't even want to say polyrhythm. They're just doing 2 different rhythms. One's going dun, 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 and the other's going, again, forgive my vocalizations of it because I don't do it justice. But the other one's just off to the left doing its own thing, but they work. It's like this strange ethereal harmony. And I have no idea what to expect when I hit the play button again. So let's dive in.
Oh God, I'm clean out of air in my lungs. It's all gone. Played it so nonchalant. It's time we dance with the truth. We're sleeping through all the days. I'm acting like I don't see every ribbon you used to tie yourself to me. But my hips have missed your hips, so let's get to know the kicks. Will you sway with me? Go astray with me.
I'm sorry, I just have to get this out. Like the way that those synths are just rising, there's like a cutoff knob just being pulled and they're just waiting to explode. I'm really excited to hear this chorus coming up, but I wanted to point out how satisfying that snare is. Maybe I'll replay it in the edit right here.
Air in my lungs, it's all gone. Played it so.
It's not a like pop snare. It's almost like they sampled something different, like a water bottle crack, and like pitched it up or something. It's very interesting. There's a lot of texture happening in this song so far. Based on the album cover, I'm expecting this to be a very sad album, but so far everything feels very upbeat. Maybe that's intentional, but so far I'm really liking the push-pull.
You're the queen of the weekend. Ain't a pill that could touch our rush. But what will we do when we're sober? When you dream with a fever, bet you wish you could touch our rush. And we pretend that we just don't care, but we care. When we're sober. When you dream with a fever, bet you wish you could touch our rush. But what will we do when we're sober?
Those brass just kind of came out of nowhere, didn't they? But they're nice. I can't tell if they're a VST or not. So a VST is a virtual instrument. So anything you can play with this tool right here, like a MIDI keyboard. I can't tell if they're real horns or if they're not, but either way, the very synthetic sound that they have. So they might even be like a regular trumpet with like a bunch of effects on it, like distortion and chorus and doubler and all this other stuff. They blend in very well with the mix, surprisingly, because they caught me by surprise, but maybe that was intentional. I see why this was recommended to me, because so far this album has a lot of surprises in the production, which is definitely up my alley.
Oh God, I'm closing my teeth around this liquor wet lime midnight. Lose my mind, I know you're feeling it too.
I'm gonna turn it up.
But bodies all through my house, I know. Jack and Jill get fucked up and possessive when it get dark.
Ooh.
But my hips are missed your hips, so let's get to know the kicks. Will you sway with me?
There we go, there's a cutoff knob coming.
With me.
There's too much going on. I have to dissect this. So there's like a lot of builds. There's like a lot of rise and fall elements. So there's a lot of like synths and drums building up, and then we're back to calm, but then things still happen, like the horns still come back, and then those vocal chops, or maybe they just sound similar, they're like new vocals that Lorde has recorded. They're like way off in this headphone, or some of them are way off in this headphone, and they're like, how do I explain this? They're like weaving together and then pulling apart and then weaving back together. There's a lot of stuff happening with automation and sort of panning between the headphones and choosing what instruments to cue when. This song is very heavy on the arrangement choices, and I have to look. We're not even done yet, but I want to look at who produced this. Let's see. We got Lorde has a production credit, Jack Antonoff has a production credit, and a couple of other people who I haven't heard of yet. From a surface level perspective, there's really, like, the song isn't that loud or that bombastic of a song, if that makes any sense. Like, it's not supposed to be overwhelming, I don't think. But when you have a brain like mine, you're literally just gravitating towards every single noise.
We know that it's over in the seas of leaving, but we know that when it's so us.
That was a really pretty song. It was pretty, but it was also just in your face a lot. Like what I said earlier, there's just tons going on. There's tons to really go over. I could even just do an entire video dissecting that song and what's going on, which I might do because I really liked it. I'm saving it right now and adding it to my playlist here. It was just a lot going on there. I don't even know what to say. Like, I really liked just we want this song to feel quiet, but it's not quiet. Does that make any sense? It feels like a lot of internal thoughts manifested as instruments, if that makes any sense. But it's also very danceable. There's a lot of like energy in it. Even some of the drums would go from minimalism to maximalism. They would go from these little tiny, almost like deep house drums. I know that's kind of a bad phrase for it, but just very deep, like kind of minimal sounding drums, to these big, like kind of things. It was really cool to hear that transition just right at the end, all the ear candy. That is definitely where that's what I listen for when I listen to music. And as much as I would love to give this song proper justice with a lyrical analysis too, unfortunately I just can't right now. It usually takes me about like 4 or 5 listens of a song to really dissect what the meaning is. But so far, the feeling that it's giving me is a very controlled chaos. On to track 3, Homemade Dynamite.
A couple rebel Top Gun pilots flying with nowhere to be. But I think that you might be the same as me. Just come out of the woodwork, I give you my best, I tell you all my best lies, yeah.
I have to comment on that. I love the gradual synth pads coming in and sort of warping under Lorde's voice as they're doing kind of this like melodramatic sort of vocal passage. You have all these synth pads kind of warbling under it, and next comes these like sort of almost war drum like battle snare things. Sounds really interesting so far.
So let's let things come out of the woodwork. I give you my best, I tell you all my best lies. See me rolling, showing someone else love, dancing with our shoes off. No, I think you're awesome, right? Our rules, our dreams, we're blind. Blowing shit up with homemade dynamite.
This might be another favorite coming up here. I am a sucker for it's hard to hear if you're caught up in the vocals, but in the back there's like a little vocal sample being played around the drums and the percussion and the synths and bass. So just like tucked away in all the layers, there's like a lot of little sampling going on. I absolutely adore stuff like that, especially in pop music. I'm very big on all the like, here, let's just put this random sound in here and try to blend it in. I've done it on a couple of songs myself, and it's a great way to bulk up the track or even catch the listener off guard. It's catching me off guard, but in a very good way.
Might get your friend to drive, but he can hardly see. Ooh. We'll end up painted on the road, red and chrome, all the broken glass sparkling. I guess we're partying, so let's let
those harmonies were so smooth. So they slowly work their way in and sort of go around Lorde's main vocal, and then they slowly pan out towards the next section of the song and go back to just Lorde's like normal voice, just without all the harmonies, without all the gloss, just so that the next moment of the song, I'm assuming, will feel a bit more intimate or a bit more back to roots type of thing, or back to the vibe that the intro had. And I'm assuming we're going to get another really explosive chorus coming up.
It's really gonna blow. Our rules, our dreams, we're blind. Blowing shit up with.
I love that. If that's the replacement for the bridge in the song, that's cool, because it's almost like a just a quick bridge, or like they call it a tag sometimes, just like a moment in the song where something different happens really quick. That's different than what it came before. Like, it's not necessarily like a big song section. It's sometimes just like a bar or two just to throw the listener off. Before we finish this song out, I did want to mention that the vocals leading up to chorus 2 had some sort of like, forgive me, it had some sort of like rap R&B sort of groove to it. I know that's not the right term. There's got to be a better way to sort of character that was happening there, the sort of fast vocal movements. But that was a good way to make that pre-chorus feel a little different and feel a little more in the pocket with the beat before we go into that chorus. So I wanted to briefly mention that.
Blowing shit up with homemade dynamite. Our friends, our drinks, we get inspired. Blowing shit up with homemade dynamite.
I really like the outro too. It has like a sort of, the vocals sort of expand and get a little more reverbed. Unless that's how they're processed in the chorus as well. It was a little hard to tell because I was kind of caught up in the groove. But they sort of expand, and the way they have it end the song without there being a sudden stop or anything was kind of nice, and it was a nice change. Up next, track 4, the Louvre. Someone tell me how to say that, because I don't know. I might have to Google it. We got some guitars.
Perfumed with obsession, half of my wardrobe is on your bedroom floor. Still I can't get enough. I overthink your punctuation use. Not my fault, just a thing that my mind do.
Whoa. Before, right as I went to go pause, that snare hit just totally like smacked me in the face. But I wanted to point this out. I love the change of pace from synth pop to guitar driven pop, or like indie pop, or whatever you want to call this. It's now a guitar led song, which I haven't heard from Lorde yet. Very nice change of pace, feels a little more alternative, feels a little more indie. We start off with just guitars, no bass, no nothing else, and then slowly you feel those bass slides sort of hovering under the main chords. Very different. It's a good way to kind of throw the listener off, I guess, from going between track by track. If every song sounded like Sober and Homemade Dynamite, it wouldn't really feel like an album. So it's good to have something a little different in the mix.
Rush at the beginning. I get caught up just for a minute in my chest. Broadcast the boom, 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 and make them all dance to it. Broadcast the boom, 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 and make them all dance to it. Broadcast the boom, 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 and make them all dance to it.
I hate that just put a big smile on my face for like for what reason? I have no idea. I think it just caught me off guard, and I really love when songs do that. So I could tell with the way that Lorde was singing that last passage that something was going to change. I was just kind of expecting like a 4 to the floor kind of thing, or like a house. I don't know. And then the Atmospheres gave me kind of, again, newer artist, producer, but Fred again. Just a very like atmospheric, almost Heartbreak House kind of thing, but it was like slowed down. It was like, whoa, like forgive me, I don't know how to describe what that was. It was like atmosphere pads and like staticky, glitchy drums, very tucked away in the background. And the way that Lorde's singing that passage makes it feel like it's supposed to be this like club anthem, but it's like not. It's just a big swell. Let's keep going.
Broadcast the boom, 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 and make them all dance to it.
I love love that. That's so cool.
Broadcast the boom, 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 and make 'em all dance to it. Our thing progresses. I call and you come through. Blow all my friendships to sit in hell with you. But we're the greatest. They'll hang us in the Louvre. Down the back, but who cares?
The Louvre. Yeah? I'm going to have to look at the lyrics later, and maybe I'll throw it into the edit. The Louvre, like, I guess that makes sense because it looks like it's like French.
Still the Louvre. Okay, I know that you are not my type. Still I fall. I'm just a sucker, let you fill her mind. But what about love? Nothing wrong with it. Supernatural. Just moving close to me, close to you, feel it coasting around to my chest. Broadcast the boom, 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 boom.
I before the awesome smiley great part happens, I just wanted to point out that Lorde has taken that beginning part. Lorde and her producers and songwriters have taken that part and sort of redid it, because it's probably considered a chorus or a hook, and added more vocal layers on top of it. They added more dimension to it and made it feel a bit more full of life, which is really cool. You know, I'm sure you people want to know like my thoughts on what the song means and the beauty of the lyrics and stuff. I'm just not. The beauty that I'm hearing in the music right now is we're going into this nice like build up like swell thing that feels like alternative pop, and then to what I think I'm gonna hear is just this abstract electronic pop atmospheric thing. And let's see if I'm right, if it's predictable or not, or if something new is gonna smack me in the face.
Make 'em all dance to it. Broadcast the boom, 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 and make 'em all dance to it. Broadcast the boom, 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 and make 'em all dance to it.
I'm hearing traces of the, like, we'll call it the A section beat. We'll call it the like main beat of the song, the alternative indie pop type beat that's in the beginning of this, where it sounds very alternative rock, alternative pop, and the drums are kind of going doo, 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 bringing it back and using it to progress and push the song forward, which is really cool. It's also very hard to do because sometimes you might have frequencies of instruments that clash with each other. Like sometimes certain drums will just cancel each other out, or certain bass lines will warp over each other, but they found a way to do it, which is really cool. There's some nice 80s guitars in there too. Yeah, that was really pretty. I like the waviness of it. I liked the just overall direction of the song. It so far is the most disjointed one on the track list, and I think that's intentional. I think it's meant to be kind of an in-between song between Homemade Dynamite and what we're going to listen to next, especially given just the long drawn-out outro. I think it's meant to be kind of like an intermission song, sort of. That's just the vibe that I get, but it was very pretty. I liked a lot of the layers, and I liked the arrangement choices of sort of taking, almost having two different songs again, kind of like what we had on Greenlight, two different songs, ideas, and finding a way to make them work together in a very tasteful way. We're going to move on to track 5, Liability.
Says it was poison, so I guess I'll go home into the arms of the girl that I love, the only love I haven't screwed up. She's so hard to please, but she's a forest fire.
Before we move on to the next section here, I love what Lorde's doing with their voice. A lot of sort of vocal effects just in the throat, like a lot of fry, a lot of sort of powering down the note and bringing it up, choking it to give it a bit more texture, just with, you know, soft palate and fry. Again, I'm not a vocal coach, but just from working with singers, I've learned sort of some techniques here and there that singers will use to bring out different colors in their voices. And I'm hearing a lot of that so far on here. So let's see what else is in store for us.
I do my best to meet her demands, play it romance, we slow dance in the living room, but all that a stranger would see is one girl swaying alone, stroking a cheek. They say, you're a little much for me, you're a liability, you're a little much for me. So they pull back, make her the wild, make you leave. I'm a little much for it. na 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 everyone.
Right there, that come down of that vocal was very smooth, but very different. Normally, in songs like this, when you're coming down from a vocal run, you'll do like a, and you'll kind of slide the note down with your voice. I really liked it almost sounded like it was cut or chopped, but I don't think so. I think it was just like, na, na, na. It was just quite literally just a little vocal cadence that Lorde punched in there, and I thought it sounded really nice.
Joy till all of the tricks don't work anymore. And then they are bored of me. I know.
So I don't usually do lyrical breakdowns, but I will say I loved that. What was it? Let me look at the lyrics here. Till all the tricks don't work anymore, and then they're bored of me. And for anymore and bored, she used the same note. So what's great about that is it makes it feel like end of the line in the lyric. It doesn't necessarily have to be the one that you rhyme it with. This is a more unconventional one, and this is a good way to do it. So moving on to the rest of the track.
That it's exciting running through the night, but every perfect summer's eating me alive until you're gone. Better on my own, they say. You're a little much for me. You're a liability. You're a little much for me. Make you leave. I'm a little much for everyone. They're gonna watch me disappear into the sun. You're all gonna watch me disappear into the sun.
Wow, that was very emotional and very sad. So yeah, that's pretty much what I imagine most of this album sounding like. And to my surprise, we have just a very nice pop ballad in the middle of this album. And I want to give a lot of credit here to Lorde's vocal ability and being able to go into different modes of using their voice, like a lot of fry, a lot of growly sort of whisper, quiet power. I like to call it the power down, like when you're choking a note a little bit, you want to go down to a low power version of it that isn't too in your face. But there was a lot of effort put into what technique do I want to use here and why. And I can really hear that being translated to me through some of these passages, especially at the end. They're just going, just having it almost be nothing but air at the end, just showing the emotion of what's going on here. I was really able to enjoy a lot of the lyrics and sort of maybe understand the meaning of the song without having to listen to it a bunch of times, because I'm not getting distracted by a bunch of noise. That was kind of refreshing. Track 6, Hard Feelings / Loveless. So this song is about 6 minutes long. I'm assuming it's probably like 2 songs in one based on the slash, but we're going to find out. We got those drums again.
Please could you be tender, and I will sit close to you.
I have to talk about this. Those little glitchy like drums and little synth plucks and vocal things in the background. I'm absolutely loving that. It's kind of reminiscent to what we heard on Sober, but a bit more quiet and peaceful. Definitely reminds me of like Lido or Porter Robinson.
It's late and this song is for you, 'cause I remember the rush when forever was us, before all of the winds of regret and mistrust. Now hard feelings, these are what they call hard feelings of love. When the sleep birds and fevers all leave us right here in the cold, along with the hard feelings of love. Gotta be sharp.
That was a lot of noises to dissect right there. I'm just going to keep it as brief as possible. That is a lot of stuff panned between the headphones for my ears to absolutely delight in. There is a lot of like warbling, like just synths sort of going into each other, and that harmony, I don't even know how many stacks that is. It sounds like 10, 11, 12, but probably more. It's probably like 20. It's hard pan, middle pan, like all across the stereo mix, just going hard feeling. I'm sorry, but it's just going hard feelings. But there's a lot of that going on here, and a lot of like, I think I heard like a synth piano sort of jingle noise swishing between the headphones. There's a lot of that going on here, and it's very, very nice to listen to.
About you. These days, we kiss and we keep busy. The waves come after midnight. Feelings. These are what they call high.
I'll have to replay it, but I think that swell had less vocal layers than the first one.
Feelings.
It's an interesting arrangement choice, and I'm not sure why it was chosen, but it sounds cool. It sounds different. It sounds like the song is actually kind of being stripped away as it's progressing. What is that? It's like synths. I don't know. Like I'm assuming it's all synths. Maybe some like sort of vocal fractal fragments just being distorted and saturated and blown to bits all across the track. But that was just, wow, that was incredible. Again, stuff like that just totally pauses me. Just totally, until I'm used to the song, I'm just going to be shocked by it. Let's keep going. That sounds like industrial samples. It sounds like something off of 1,000 Suns by Linkin Park. Just very like gritty, has a lot of texture to it. It's very granular, lot of layering to it. I definitely want that to be appreciated because it's just a big moment. And it's meant to be, right? Because I'm assuming we're coming up on the halfway mark here, and we're going to transition into probably the next part of the song, would be my guess. But I really want that moment appreciated because that was just huge, absolutely huge.
Years loved you every single day, made me weak. It was real for me, yeah, real for me. Now I'll fake it every single day till I don't need fantasy, till I feel you leave from you, far away from you.
That was cool because it's almost like we swelled into another B section. I'd have to listen to it again to see if this melody that we're hearing now is more like if it's different enough or if it's the same melody that we heard during the verse or the pre-choruses. But I thought that was a really good use of just everything that I heard right there. Oh, we're on the same song. I had to double check there. We've transitioned into what I'm going to call, or dub right now, the Loveless outro. Even with my imaginary drumsticks, I can't like keep up with the different rhythms happening here. This is really cool. Awesome. I love the Loveless outro. Bet you wanna rip my heart out. So far, that song pitted up against Sober are my favorites from this album so far. I definitely love just the intuitive use of samples, drums, different ways of singing. Even at the end there, that the Loveless outro felt like a nice little collage of almost like little voice memos, right? Obviously they were professionally recorded vocal lines, but it felt like Lorde had all of these little voice memos of song ideas in like the same key and just went, I'm just going to go play around with them and sequence them around each other to make a song with them. And I love stuff like that. That feels like the production and the sort of song's idea, having it feel like a collage is such a unique way to approach songwriting and production. And I feel like that was done very well there. Speaking of Sober, we're going on to track 7, which is Sober 2. So a sequel to Sober, and in parentheses, Melodrama. Let's check it out. Got some strings in the beginning.
Our only wish is melodrama. Oh, how fast the evening passes, cleaning up the champagne glasses. The terror and the horror, when we wonder why we bother. Whoa. Whoa, and the terror and the horror. God, I wonder why we bother. Whoa, whoa. All the glamour and the trauma and the fucking melodrama. Whoa, whoa.
This song has like Lorde tends to do this thing, at least on this album, where there's almost like there's pop at like the center. Like Lorde has a very a voice meant for this kind of music, very pop, clean, smooth voice. And then Lorde will also do like very cinematic, almost musical theater kind of vocal passages. And then we have this like rap, R&B, rhythmic sort of thing that just comes out of nowhere, and it's awesome. I can picture some trap hats coming in right now with that.
Don't talk about us, all the lovers, how we kiss and kill each other. Whoa. Don't talk about us and discover.
I swear, I haven't listened to this song before. I just the way the vocal was sort of being delivered, and the way that the rhythm was happening, I literally had no idea that was going to happen. I was just like, I could just picture some trap hats happening right now. And I was right. But it was just, just based on how things were progressing. I originally anticipated like just more orchestra and sort of swelling down, especially based on what we heard in Sober. But in this, I didn't expect like actual trap hats to come in. I was just saying with the rhythm, I can picture them coming in. So I'm noticing some themes so far on this album, and I'm only mentioning this because we're about 2/3 of the way through. We have almost like 3 acts, right? We had like the first act with tracks 1 through 3. Then we had the Louvre, or I'm so sorry, I probably got that pronounced wrong, but that was like our first intermission, even though it was more of a song, but it was still an intermission. And then we had Liability, Hard Feelings, and Loveless as like act 2. And then I feel like this is sort of like a in between, like it's like an act 2.5. Then we have the next 2 tracks, and it looks like we have a reprise of Liability, which was track 5. Track 8, Writer in the Dark.
Break the news, you're walking out to be a good man for someone else. Sorry, bet you rue the day you kissed a rider in the dark. Bet you rue the day you kissed a rider in the dark. I am my mother's child, I love you till my breathing stops. I love you till you call the cops on me.
I want to take a moment to appreciate Lorde's vocal range. So the beginning of this song was very deep. Lorde was going to very low, sort of brooding ranges with their voice, and now we're into this like Hey Jude, very like 8-9 part harmony type of thing, but with a lot of like chorus on it to just widen out the take, sort of bringing it up and rising up back into the high range. But I wanted to take a moment to sort of address that and appreciate it.
I find a way to be without you, babe.
There was a little noise that I heard in the production bed there. There was like a reverse string, and it made me think there was going to be like a big orchestra moment happening right here. My guess is, since there's not right now, it's probably going to come later in the chorus, but it was a nice little swell that I didn't anticipate. There we go. We're going back down to the deep.
Bet you rue the day you kissed a rider in the dark.
Is it going to happen?
My mother's child, I love you till my breathing stops. I love you till you call the cops on me.
Oh.
But in our darkest hours, I stumbled on a secret path.
So they weren't where I thought they were going to happen, but they're coming. They're rising up. Oh. That is so emotional, and that's a great way to convey that in production. So the same lyric and the same like way it's being sung is happening, but instead of the 8-9 part harmony, at least I'm assuming that's how many takes it was, there's only like 1 or 2 happening, maybe 3. So they're just caking it in reverb and just making it sound like it's far away. And that's a great way to sort of repeat the same thing that you've been singing, but make it just more emotional and just more like you're singing it in like an echo chamber or an opera hall. And it sounds beautiful. That orchestra at the end there was so pretty. That was very pretty. I loved the low cello, the very romantic sounding strings. It felt like it all just kind of came together towards the end there. I usually am not a big fan of slower, more calm, more thought out ballads. I'm usually more of a high energy, very high production kind of listener. I like a lot of ear candy and stuff, but that song I feel like just had the right amount for the message and for what was trying to be sung there. And I thought it was well done. Track 9, Supercut.
In my head, I play a supercut of us.
Like little bouncy house
All
pianos.
the magic we gave off, all the love we hadn't lost. And in my head, the visions never stop. These ribbons wrap me up, but when I reach for you, there's just a supercut.
It's almost got like a I'm going to use horrible comparisons here, but because this is a completely different genre or subgenre of pop, but it's giving like Lady Gaga, it's giving Taylor Swift 1989, atmospheric but held back, a lot of held back emotion.
In your car, the radio up. In your car, the radio up. We keep trying to talk about us. I'm someone you may be my love. I'll be your quiet afternoon crush. Be your violent overnight rush. Make you crazy over my touch. But it's just a supercut of us. Supercut of us. So I fall into continents and cars.
There's like I feel like this was like a prequel to I Can Do It With a Broken Heart by Taylor Swift. This was very like it's got a lot of like pulsing synth, a lot of wavy, like it's tremelloing between the headphones. Like it's a club anthem, but it's also a pop song, but it's also very atmospheric and pulled back.
It's the supercut. 'Cause in my head I do everything right. When you call, I forgive and I fight. Because of the moments I play in the dark. We were wild and fluorescent. Come home to my heart. In your car, the radio up. In your car, the radio up. We keep trying to talk about us. Be a violent overnight rush over my touch. But it's just a supercut of us.
Wow. Can we talk about that drum fill? Couple things here. I love the build-ups. I love the way everything's sort of swelling into the middle of the song. This feels like the last song on the album. This feels like it's a climax. So I'm not really sure what to expect from Perfect Places, but so far with this song, it feels like an anthem. This was definitely in Lorde's set list back when there was a tour going on for this album, because this feels like a song that's meant for sort of a live setting where you have multiple band members, you got a synth player, you got a guitarist, you got a drummer. Like, I really love that it feels like just a full band arrangement, but it's a big synth pop anthem. It's happy heartbreak because it's clearly about something very sad, but it's also got just this bittersweet kind of color to it. But also the vocal little starts and stops and the instrument stopping at certain parts, the supercut of us, and then it just like stops. Really cool.
Supercut of us. 'Cause in my head, I do everything right. When you call, I forgive and not fight. All the moments I play in the dark, I'm fluorescent, come home to my heart. 'Cause in my head, I do everything.
Before we came back into the break, into the dance beat, I really want to point out what just happened there. So remember earlier I was talking about voice memos, or I mentioned like kind of lo-fi vocals, or just, you know, like low fidelity recordings. So like this feels like the demo, or like the voice note, or the just quickly recorded, quickly jotted down version of Supercut's hook was just put into the song, just bled in there, and then we pan back out into the studio recording. So it feels very intimate, like you're almost sitting there with the artist as they're coming up with this idea, and then we're back into the huge production studio arrangement. I love when songs do that. I can list you a couple of them right now, and I'll pop them up on the screen. But I love when that's a device that's used sort of this like lo-fi, let's make you feel like you're listening to this on like a tape, or just a raw recording on the phone, like when it was being created. And then we're going back into the big pop maximalism that you're used to hearing.
Because I love the moments I play in the dark. Thing right when you call, I forgive and I fight.
If I wasn't doing an album reaction right now, I would totally just make a reaction just on this song and the things that are happening in there. We have just all these push-pull moments, all these moments of the energy dying down, and the vocal either becoming more raw and intimate, or the vocal being washed out with reverb to convey just a bigger emotional response than what was originally addressed before. We have different drums and build-ups, and sort of like, it's this happy, sad, bittersweet thing is just, I'm such a sucker for it, because you're feeling two emotions at once, and that's a very hard thing to convey. And it's when it's well done in music, it's just so satisfying to hear. That's almost like a pitched down version of the hook, just sort of pulsing in the background. I feel like that outro was supposed to feel like if you're listening to this song at like a concert or the club or something, and the DJ or the live sound mixer is just turning down the high pass, or turning down the high cut, and it's just washing out and just becomes nothing but bass at the end. Super emotional. There's a lot to be said about that song. If I wasn't reacting to this whole album, I would just talk about that song, and probably sober, because there's just so much to unpack there. Let's move on to track 10, Liability Reprise.
Much for me. You're a little much for me. No. And all of the shit that we harbor make all of the kids in the choir sing. Ooh.
About halfway through it right now, and again, I think this is supposed to feel like more of a sort of intermission song between this song and the last one on the album. But one thing I wanted to point out is I feel like we're taking different elements throughout the album. The drums feel like they're from Sober. The vocal or the lyrics are obviously from Liability, at least in the beginning. Again, I'd have to re-listen to Liability to validate that the rest of these are from that song, because they feel a little different. And again, I'm horrible at hearing lyrics, but this feels very like it's doing kind of a Sober 2, but instead it's a Liability 2, and it's sort of progressing it into what we're going to hear next. Now, onto the final track, Perfect Places. It's already a good sign when 4 seconds in you're hearing 80s style drums done on a modern kit. Always a sucker for that.
Every night I live and die, feel the party to my bones. Watch the wasters blow the speakers, spill my guts beneath the outdoor light. It's just another graceless night. I hate the headlines and the weather. I'm 19 and I'm on fire.
So there's some things there. Oh, I heard a piano at the end too. So hold on. We're getting there.
But when we're dancing, I'm alright. It's just another graceless night. Are you lost enough? Have another drink, get lost in us. This is how we get, and it's obvious. Cause I don't know if they keep telling me where to go. I'll blow my brains out.
I'm not, hold on. I'm not like, usually lyrics don't hit me unless they're very powerful, very emotional, but that one hit me. I will not repeat it out loud, but just, wow. What a statement, and what a just like really big, moment in the song. Very dramatic. That's probably the intent, but it's very powerful with the drums and the way that everything's arranged there. I'm going to get my synthesizers wrong. That was either a very rich sounding Moog synth, or that was a Juno synth. I thought Supercut was going to be our last sort of pop banger, but we definitely got another one with Perfect Places.
Every night I live and die, meet somebody, take 'em home, let's kiss and then take off our clothes. It's just another graceless night.
I loved the way that the lower vocals, particularly in that in the mix right there, graveled up towards the chorus. Like it just went and scooped up into what's going to be the next vocal passage, which we already know is a banger of a chorus.
Us to perfect places, fading now.
If you listen very closely right there, you'll hear, because it's sort of moving on to the next moment instead of just repeating the same thing. There's a little like ticky percussion thing right there under the main drum line. And I personally do that in a lot of tracks that I produce. I put a lot of just little, like they call it foliage, just little like noises in the background. You can put like little textures, or just like even repeats of the same thing, but just processed differently with like a saturator, compressor, just things to make it sound a little different. But we have these little things behind the main drum, and it adds to the energy. It makes you feel like it's like a bigger chorus almost, or it's going to be a new part of the song. That's cool. That's really cool. So again, my ears are so distracted by all this big ear candy. I haven't heard very many guitar passages in the song, but literally right now, leading into this sort of like post-chorus, or it's still the chorus or the hook, but you know, the next part of the song, you hear almost this like sort of polluting the mix, or just coming in right next to the synths. I almost thought it was a synth noise, like a little plucky thing with a short decay, but I was wrong. I think it's a guitar. That Moog, Juno, whatever lead that I heard earlier is being used as the counter melody now.
All the nights spent off our faces, trying to find these perfect places. What the fuck are perfect places anyway?
That was a great closer for the album, and I'm excited to wrap up my thoughts on this. So going into this album, I didn't really know what to expect. I was wonderfully surprised at what I heard. I would say out of the 11 songs, I have 9 of them saved, so that's a good sign. Also, the highlights for me were Sober, Homemade Dynamite kind of, but mostly Sober, Hard Feelings, and Loveless. Liability was also cool. I also like Supercut and Perfect Places, obviously. So there's a lot to be said here. I wanted to talk about the outro of Perfect Places before I go just talking about the album overall a bit more. But I love how tired Lorde sounds after it, almost feeling like the entire album is like a set list, or it's the party's over kind of vibe. Like, hey, I'm worn out here. The way that that passage at the end is being sung, it makes it sound like they're just very tired, just done, mic drop right afterwards, might as well be. And rightfully so, because the vocal arrangement in the last few tracks were just really big. I was expecting the album to either keep kind of the same energy or to spiral downward and sort of keep momentum that way. But the energy was like this. Like I was saying earlier, it's like this album has different acts, and certain tracks on there are like the interludes between those acts. And I very much enjoyed what I heard here. I would definitely be interested in trying out, what is it? I think it's Solar Power. And I still got to listen to the new album. So definitely interested in checking those out now that I've checked this out. This album overall sort of has a nice, there's a couple ballads on there, but there's a lot of synth pop, and there's a lot of textures, and there's a lot of unexpected sound choices, and just a lot of ways that Lorde expresses themselves as an artist. And I'm here for it. I think it's great. I've saved most of the album to Spotify at this point. Please let me know if you want me to sort of if you want me to check anything else out, or sort of give more of an in-depth dissection of what's going on. I would even be down to take some of these songs and maybe even make just a small video breaking down what makes them catchy or what makes them cool into more detail. But I really liked what I heard, and most importantly, thank you guys for stopping by and for watching. I definitely enjoyed sharing this moment with you guys, and if you have anything else that you want me to check out, just drop it in the comments.